And onto our politics side of the show, we have a story that's really made like a lot of news in the past week. So the SRC head, who his name is Mcebo Dlamini, who then said that he loves Hitler, and he thinks that also that white people have an element of Hitler in them. Very controversial,
Right.
and he's offended obviously largely South Africans and also the Jewish community.
Right.
And his whole thing was that, you know, Hitler's not that bad. He just killed a few people, but also like rebuilt a nation, like started things again, which I mean, fine, but the biggest thing is that he was responsible for a number of killings and a lot of hurt in the community.
Right.
So what do you guys think about this? You know, this head of a student body in our university.
Well, for me, it concerns me because if you've got that sort of responsibility and that sort of power, then knowledge is power. And before you make statements that are going to be that controversial, you research. So if you think that he just killed a few people, perhaps do some research as to who Hitler was, what he stood for, and the, you know, the ramifications that it took for the rest of the world and a whole, you know, bunch of years later. And maybe, you know, I agree with the whole thing of he's like, I have freedom of speech. Yes, but with that freedom comes responsibility.
What puzzles me is he's 29. What is he still doing at university?
But
But maybe he's a postgraduate and he loves,
point.
and he really loves
school,
his degree. And second of all, I've had the lovely pleasure of being on an SRC, and the first and foremost thing is to be on an SRC, you really build your university. You're parts of building that university. You're representing the students at the higher council of university. So specifically when you're chairman, you are so responsible in anything that you do and anything that you say that you are representing that university. So I can imagine when Vice Chancellor Adam Habib heard about that, you know, it almost feels like a stab in the back.
yeah.
I mean, everybody chose this guy to represent them, and he is not doing so in a good manner. Just, I mean, a few moments ago, they've raised about R1 million for students that do not have access to university, which is an amazing thing for the SRC to do. And right after that, the hero falls.
Absolutely.
And it's so sad to see this, and he's standing by his point of view very, very strongly. And I understand he's made the statement now he wants to, you know, keep strong, but this is a very responsible thing to do.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I feel like a lot of our student bodies at the moment need to be very careful. There's a lot of attention on our student bodies. You know, we've had this
Right.
Roads Must Fall thing, and now this kind of comment happens. And don't you think it's more of a fueling of this divide that we seem to be struggling with at the moment? You know, it's a very tender time for our universities. So do you think that maybe he is maybe helping or serving a cause, for instance?
I just feel that with all the attention on these students, I hope that they are taking just 50% of the energy that they are putting into these causes on their studies. Can you imagine how incredible our education system would be if all that energy that they're putting into all these causes would actually be into their studies and passing their degrees? That's my first thought. And secondly, I just feel like we have come so far in this beautiful country, and then to still have it come down to race. I just wish everyone would be born, it sounds terrible to say, but born colorblind. We just wouldn't see black and white, pink polka dot, green. It wouldn't be that case. I mean, to say that every white person has Hitler tendencies, it's absolutely cringeworthy. Cringeworthy. You are undoing everything that we're trying to do, that Mandela did in trying to create a democracy and trying to create a rainbow nation. And these are just irresponsible comments.
I think it seems though, like, you know, we can't maybe dismiss the kind of hurt that people have. And of course, I feel you when you say, like, we should really come to a point where color isn't such a thing, because it is a construct, you know, it has been worked. So we, obviously though, people are hurting. So it's obvious. So like, in the words that people are using, you know, it's just a pity that it's such dividing languages, you know. So maybe this is the kind of thing that we need. Maybe our students need to be ruffled up a little bit, and so that people respond to stuff. But I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it.
I mean, there's destructive ways and constructive ways in doing it, and really working to get pride in the country and start working into uplifting people, as they did with getting students to start entering university that couldn't have done it before financially. So there's definitely some positive, and I can see that he is, he does have a future vision for South Africa. Unfortunately, then there comes a destructive way of doing it by increasing the tear from races, which is not at all what South Africa needs at the moment. The democracy stands for, as she said, colorblindness, and really giving an opportunity for everyone alike. And comments like those do not form part of that vision and vision of the future of South Africa at all.
Yeah, and tell me, what do you guys think? I mean, he hasn't really apologized, and he thinks it's valid and all of that. And that kind of narrow-minded thinking, do you think for someone who's in a position like that it's maybe not as healthy as he'd think it is? And how can that comment be okay? I don't know.
It's ego for him. Now it's a case of going, ooh, even if he has thought, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Sometimes ego takes over of going, well, now I have to stick to my guns. I have to stick to what I said. Otherwise, I'm going to be wrong, especially someone in that power. People look up to me. Now, if I say that I was wrong, will I have that lost? Ego, I think, is the biggest problem with the world. And I think he would gain even more respect if he had to go, you know what, I stuffed up. I'm so sorry. I said without thinking. I didn't think of the ramifications. You're right. Let me retract that or withdraw that. And I think he would gain so much respect, and people would sit and go, everyone makes a mistake. Okay, great. But not doing anything about it, that's going to cause more damage.
Yeah. You're saying you had a history in your own student body at school. How would you have dealt with the situation? If something like this happened at the time that you were in, how would you deal with it?
I think first of all we would have worked it out internally as a university, and really, first of all dealt with the person that did start the conflict. Obviously, I mean, every university is under a magnification glass for fault at the moment, and specifically with controversial things like this. But it must be handled internally first. And I'm not sure, there isn't really much news on the reaction from the rest of the student council as to how this was handled by the rest of them, as they are a team and need to work through this as a team. And it does start seemingly look like Adam Habib is looking at taking steps against him, and so you have to sort these things out internally before it starts exploding, and which it did now. And specifically with social media, as it is a public source, these things do come out. So if this was just a discussion between him and a mate, and the mate was like all shocked, and this would have been sorted out a long time ago. Yeah. But taking this to social media is very, very, very has much larger ramifications, and specifically if you're the chairman, I mean, the spotlight is on you the whole time. You represent everything that Wits is, and this is not what Wits is. No.
Social media is very
unforgiving, and it doesn't matter how much times you delete it, it always pops up somewhere later on.
Absolutely.